Cinder remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
Oh, that's brutal.
I do.
Do you? What does it mean?
Yeah, it means it's that one Friday in the month where we do the thing.
Brilliant. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, yeah, that's very specific. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Insert Credits Round 73. What is it?
Cold White Disaster.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Because it was.
It was very much so.
Guess
Yeah.
what? You want to know what was really scary?
What was scary?
We got fucking snow on Halloween.
Yeah.
It's not scary necessarily, it's just stupid.
Yeah, that wasn't
Well-
scary. Like, I think more of my friends were pissed off than they were scared.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
now I'm not looking forward to any other part of this season because, oh god, it started already.
Yeah.
That's the scary.
I
We
can
didn't even
only-
get fall. I'm sad.
Yeah, I can only remember a handful of times when I was a wee babby when we got snow in October, so
Yeah.
it's annoying.
It's a regular occurrence.
I mean, that's
now.
when I actually wanted it.
When you were a kid?
Yeah,
You wanted snow super early? Why?
because I could build snow forts.
Okay, fair.
But
That's a
like,
fair assessment.
but now I'm just like, oh fuck this.
Yeah. See, it's a whole lot different when you have to care for sidewalks now.
Right? When you actually have to move the damn solid water around, yeah, your perspective changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm MrBond.
I'm Tormod.
And I'm Saxxon.
We have a special guest with us tonight. Do you prefer
Hi.
V-Rays or
Vlad works.
Vlad Works?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Vlad Works. How you?
Damn it.
Just kidding. Hello,
Um,
Vlad.
My online handle for my Twitch is vraze, V_RAZE, but you know, Vlad is fine.
Very good. Well,
Val is
you-
fine. V something is fine.
You will be hanging out with us for the duration of the show, roughly 2 hours or whatever.
Yep,
until
you're stuck here now.
we,
Yeah.
decide to end this
Gee.
charade.
With the door that now easily opens and closes.
Yes.
Yeah.
How will you get out?
Exactly.
But
Hints,
it-
pull, do not push.
I mean, there is a window.
Yeah.
2 windows, in fact.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, 7 windows if you count the VM.
Ah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Close though.
Thanks.
Just had to make sure.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta be precise.
Counting's
See, I got
hard.
Windows 10
It
at
is-
home.
It is very hard. Huh? I get it. I get it. We're all terrible people.
Yes.
Housekeeping. One of these days I'll remember to pull up the calendar ahead of time.
Yeah,
Today is
about
not that day.
Yeah.
Round 74, I believe we have scheduled for the 13th of December.
Yeah, that sounds right, because why would we avoid a Friday the 13th?
True.
That
Very
is
true.
exactly what we do. Yes, that is accurate.
There's also a possibility of another special guest on that show, so that's going to be cool and fun and awesome.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
Surprise.
Oh my.
Live
Surprise.
or...
Live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
But I don't think we scheduled anything in 2020. with
Yeah.
Barbara Wawa.
Yeah, something about hindsight. Anyway.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I think we can wait until December show to schedule anything in 2020. I'm not really hot to trot to get this on the calendar. What? You don't like my mannerisms? Fuck you.
No.
Jeez.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm gonna be stuck in a loop trying to figure that one out for a bit.
You seriously never heard that expression before? Really?
Hot to trot?
Hot to trot. Yeah.
I
I've-
know.
It means, you know,
I've
you
only
gotta bug up your ass to get something done.
I
sort of
mean,
thing.
okay, yeah, that's a different context than I understood it in.
Okay, very good.
All right. So this is the AD version, anyway.
Well, I mean, it does get dark
It
out
is.
awful
I
early
was gonna
now.
say, like, we got to the restaurant at like 4:45, and it was pretty much
already
post Twilight.
very
Yeah.
dark, and it was sad, and I
Yeah.
got very disappointed.
Yeah,
So
I
do we
do
want
have
to
sad
schedule 75 right away? I'm looking at maybe 17th.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
All right, very good.
Cool.
17th around 75.
Do it.
Do it, do it. Kill him. Credits. Feel free to fill the dead air while I'm typing the shit in.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway.
Quad
Very good.
So, yeah,
Thanks.
February, we could do it on Valentine's Day.
Oh, but that's when the Sonic movie comes out. I'm gonna be busy.
Really?
I'm just kidding. Are you kidding?
I was like,
I'm gonna
is
be
that actually
busy
the date
watching
then?
That is
film.
when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
We talked about this like 3 months ago when they were doing the
Lord,
first
no.
thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I like
That
mentally
is the
blocked that movie,
worst.
and then it got better.
It did get better.
That
The
Oh my God.
trailer is actually super good
still
now.
though, like
That-
why of all days?
It's, you
Yeah.
got me. I don't know,
That
man.
is that is an
Oh, I know
outstanding
why.
date movie right there.
Because of Golden Rings.
I can see
Okay.
that. It's lame, but I can
That's-
see that.
That's a stretch.
It
yeah,
sounds like that
okay.
kind of movie's humor anyway.
Okay, well, 14th then.
Sure.
Might as well, sure.
All right, very good. That's
we can all
far
date
enough.
Yeah.
or something. Yep.
Cool. Cool. All right. Any other housekeeping garbage we got to deal with right now? I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know, no, actually, we're
No?
gonna do March
Oh, really?
because it's another
Bold.
Friday the 13th.
Son of a bitch, it is.
I know, it's great.
absolutely easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Be what, 77 or 76?
I don't know. Counting's hard.
All right, it is.
Fallout.
That's why I asked. That's a terrible game.
I think it's 77 for March.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yes,
I
it
can
is.
count with my fingers.
If you get up to 10, you're no good.
Dang it! Then I'll just have to start using binary
Oh
anyway.
boy. All right.
Don't
do
worry
we
about it.
do we need to do April?
No.
Okay, very good. We're done then.
Oh! Never
now
mind.
what?
I got
Don't just make
excited.
a surprise noise and then don't follow up with it.
I got excited because I still had March's calendar up there. It's like, shit, we could do 420, not like the last year. No,
No.
it didn't line up this
No.
time. Damn. All right, well, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
One of these years we'll get it.
Yeah.
It's got to be in one of the next 7, right? 6,
Yeah.
5.
Something.
Maybe
Numbers.
we could get June
Well,
9th at some point.
Don't
though.
leap day screw
June
that
9th
up.
would be
though.
solid too.
Yeah.
It'd be a real nice day for that. Okay, so housekeeping terminated. Around the world. Terminated. Around the world, thousands of additional DOS games have been added to the Internet Archive, and they keep on rolling with that shit. So
Cool.
super cool and awesome. Go play it for free in your browser and/or download, because usually that's how they do things around there.
Ooh, abandonware.
Heck yeah. And like really good abandonware, not shitty abandonware either. Like really solid, good things.
While we're on the topic of that, though, like real quick,
Uh-huh.
so I think it's called MacintoshGarden.com. It's a abandonware site for Mac games for classic Mac and System 6 through 9. So
Nice.
it's very nice. But yeah, if you want more things like that on the Mac side, that's a good site for it. There you go.
Very good. Well, internet archiving and shit, that's great. I'm glad people do that, and I'm glad they have the funding to do it, presumably. Or if it's just people all volunteering their time and money, which is also awesome.
Yeah.
Please keep doing that. I wonder if they actually have a donation page or something. Maybe shoot a couple bucks their
Probably.
way or something. Be like, hey, you guys are doing good.
I can only imagine the amount of storage that they use.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
'cause,
got to be up there. Well, not old DOS games necessarily, when they bragged about 5 megs of graphics. Ah!
17 floppies.
Right,
Ah!
exactly. Was that Doom? Was it Doom 2 that was on an obnoxious number of floppies or something like that?
Oh, I know
Oh,
Windows
Doom
95
2
was.
Was
Doom
it?
2 didn't.
Yeah,
did
52.
Doom 2 have a floppy release?
I thought they had a floppy
I only
release.
ever had it on CD-ROM.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe it did have a floppy release. I don't know. Like the original, like Ultimate Doom was like 4 or 5 discs, though. It was not much.
It wasn't that much considering, right?
Yeah, I
But-
mean, like my Windows 95 installation was like
Oh
20
my
something.
God,
so
why? Who has the time to do that?
Yeah.
I had the time
That's
to
the
do that.
portable install.
I was young and bored, and installed
fair.
Windows 95 a few times off of floppy.
You just go from install to install. All right, well, we're done with 20 discs. Here's number 1 again. Let's just
Yeah.
keep rolling.
Oh,
Yeah,
and it
so-
sucked because like disc 18 had like a weak sector or some garbage on it, so like I had to keep going.
So that
It's
was
like
my
you
Windows
better not
98
fail
for-
on me now. I've waited this long.
So my install of Windows 98 on a Toshiba Satellite, not Pro, Satellite, was done with floppy, and one of the compressed cab files, it was like the CA underscore because it was
Mhm.
compressed,
Uh-huh.
went bad. So I was like, the
Oh,
Windows 95
womp.
version of this is fine. Yeah, no.
No,
I did not like that.
no, that's not how
Oh,
major
they are
versions
wildly
work.
different.
Well, I tried.
Yeah.
You gave it the go. You gave it
Yeah,
the
you-
old college
you tried
try,
so hard.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
boy.
We're done with that.
We didn't get that far.
I'm gonna master boot you in the head.
Oof. Save it for later.
Sexy? I don't know. Anyway.
Microsoft is bringing back their Xbox All Access program. You remember it's the Live Gold, Game Pass, and subscription level hardware or whatever. But they've now beefed it up to include an option for next-gen hardware, that Project Scarlet stuff or whatever
Ooh.
they started calling it.
So is that what they're calling the Xbox Game Pass now?
I think Game Pass is part of it.
Okay, because I
they
know
got-
as we bought the AMD Ryzen 9 stuff that just came out, we
Uh-huh.
got the Game Pass thing for like 3 months.
Yeah, that's
and-
one component of it, because it's,
Okay.
it's Live Gold, Game Pass, and then the hardware, the subscription fees for the hardware, which that next-gen hardware is scheduled for release in late 2020.
Huh.
So you can get ready for it.
Speaking of Ryzen.
Lol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True enough, true enough. Mental health studies are making further inroads into game design and development. The devs of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, itself having a central focus on mental issues, is continuing to work with University of Cambridge professor Paul Fletcher to study game design, technology, and neuroscience impact on mental illness.
Neat.
Right on.
That's very neat. Very apropos and timely with what we just did last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just a little butt in again?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Why
Again?
stop now?
Yes.
Exactly. So we had our second annual Super Stigma Slam and got above 5K again.
Mm-hmm.
We had $5,169.69 nice cents.
Nice.
And unprompted, Take This actually reached out to us,
They did.
and we are now marked as a supporter of Take This on their website next to big names like Oculus and things like that.
And Valve.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that is wild to
just
be
gonna-
featured on that.
Just gonna
as the
pull it up.
producer, going to toot my own horn for that. Yeah, there we go. Toot toot. So, yeah.
I'll pull it up. Oh, did I got the dumb address wrong because I'm an idiot.
TakeThis.org.
I put a hyphen in there.
Ah,
I should
okay.
not have.
That's fair.
So used to it from 0 hour.
I am.
Yeah.
I am a little bit. So we are listed next to Good Shepherd Entertainment and the ESA, Oculus, Valve, Wormwood, and Xbox.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that is.
And Empty Square.
And an empty square.
Yeah.
Very upcoming names. Upcoming big names.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yes, that is very cool to see our little kind of homegrown thing alongside these very big players.
I'm kind of thinking that we should like alter that to have ZHP underneath it, maybe.
Branding,
I don't
branding,
know.
branding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's us.
It
We don't-
is us.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know,
you
I
know,
was just
like we
thinking
don't
about it.
also support. Well, like I wouldn't say that, but like we don't always have charities on behalf of Take This for every
Correct.
event.
Correct.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we do Extra Life. Speaking of, that event is going to be sometime in April.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Super Stigma Slam is kind of our
Big thing.
brand for
Yeah, exactly.
doing
Yeah.
the support for Take This. So I
Yep,
think
yep.
I'm good having it just there. And plus, it's
No, that makes sense.
nice and simple. It stands out. So that's super cool. But
Uh-huh.
yes, appropriate to butt in there.
Mhm.
Everspace 2, Rockfish Games did a Kickstarter for this, and it succeeded.
Cool. I remember
It's
you playing
fantastic.
Everspace. How many years ago was that now?
Not
2, 3?
not years, probably like last year and a half or so.
Wow,
It's
okay.
not really that old of a game, but it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, tell us about it. Then.
It's fantastic. It's a space-based action RPG roguelike. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Nice.
I like
Degrees
it.
of Freedom, dual stick.
Yeah, six off, very much in the vein of Descent Free Space.
Love me some Six Doff.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's real good.
So
It's
you
real
gonna
good stuff.
possibly revisit that, maybe?
Heck yeah.
Okay,
In
cool.
fact, I just played a whole bunch of Everspace 1 this past week. Probably more than I should have, of course. But
Hi, Tom.
that's
Roguelike?
how that
Huh?
happens.
What?
Yeah, right? But that's cool. So the early access for that is due out in April 2020. Full release September 2020. And you might see a little bit of something related to me in there, too. So we'll see what happens.
Are you
We'll
being
see what
supportive?
comes. I'm being very supportive.
Oh, excellent. Good.
I always support. These are in fact the devs that the Linux community likes very much because they do native Linux releases,
Hey.
kind of on
Nice.
point with their Windows release. So much so that we in fact send them cookies every now and again.
Oh,
I know, right?
that's really great.
That's
It's
so awesome.
adorable and fun and cool.
So
So
how-
so we like them a lot.
Curious though, like how do you do mail order cookies?
Somebody else takes care of that. I just
Okay.
send money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like I was just wondering if it was like this individual that just makes a bunch of cookies and ships
Oh
them.
no,
or...
we do online orders from a bakery in Germany.
That's
Germany,
frickin'
Austria,
Right on.
somewhere around
sweet.
there, somewhere very local to them that we can kind of ship them directly to.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
That's really
Mhm.
great. Cool. Well, props to y'all for being supportive of their support.
So hear that, game devs. You support Linux, you might get cookies
And, or
other
baked
things
goods.
and other baked goods and
Come
other
to the
other
dark
sundry
side.
items. We have
Booze.
many cookies and booze. Booze
Yeah.
is good too.
You gotta fuel the devs.
Mm-hmm. So Steam Remote Play Together. You remember we kind of reported on this a little bit,
Uh-huh.
either last time or the
It was
time
last time,
before.
yep.
Okay. So it's now out in beta with the Steam beta client, and I've used it personally a couple times, and it works pretty well. I gotta say, I tried this with a co-op side-scrolling brawler game with a dude from Canada, and he
Nice.
told me the latency was hardly noticeable, and the video quality was good, and the audio was good, and the controls were fine, and everything was pretty shipshape for it. So
So
Very cool.
Did you know this dude from Canada?
yeah, Omega Weapon in
Yeah, I
fact.
was gonna say. I was like, I'm pretty sure this sounds
In
real
fact,
familiar.
Yep. And in
Hello,
fact,
Omega Weapon.
You have to send Omega Weapon some cookies too.
he's actually the one that bought the game for me, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Also,
The dude.
But no, it was a great time. We did a little co-op Fight and Rage, and we totally tore ass through that game because we were both awesome. But it was a good time and it was a great test, and I'm very interested in seeing if this works more generally across a whole bunch of different games, because this one worked fantastically well for it.
Delightful.
Other kind of streaming remote play stuff. Google Stadia is launching on Monday, this Monday, 18th November. Absent a lot of crap that they said it would have.
Yeah,
Yeah, the extremely lackluster launch list.
Yeah, I saw their titles, and it's mostly Tomb Raider.
Yeah, and not just the titles that it's launching with, but actual features. Like there's no UI for achievements. There's no 4K HDR 5.1 streaming for PC stuff that they were promising.
Yeah, so I've heard people say that the launch list is tumorous.
Oh God, I get it.
Grown.
I get it.
Wow.
So let me read down the list a little bit of the stuff that's not making it in.
That they promised?
That they promised.
All right.
that will not be happening. In fact, the limitations early adopters will face on day one. PC Chrome gameplay won't support 4K HDR 5.1 surround. Yeah, whatever. Google Assistant integration won't be included. Whatever. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Family sharing is not supported on day one, so you have to buy games for your child's account. Cool. What a great thing that is.
That kind of sounds like a major feature.
Yeah, right? Like sharing games between... Weird. No Stadia UI for achievements or achievement notifications on day one. Chromecast Ultra units, which were purported to be able to do Stadia streaming and whatever. The only ones that will be supported day one is the ones you get through the Founders Edition kits that they ordered, the $130 bundle with all this crap. And so,
not the other named Ultra.
Nope.
Chrome.
Not the same exact hardware, probably, that they will be
jeez.
supporting. Not on day one, but soon after launch. Whatever.
Google.
A phone is needed for initial setup and for buying games.
Google.
You have to use their app. You can't do it over the web. You can't
Does
do
it
it
need to
through
be a
anything
Pixel
else.
device?
No, why?
I don't think so. It just says a phone is needed for initial setup and buying games.
I was gonna say, if they're gonna start turning this into a walled garden, hi Apple.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Well, it's so garbage because, like, you know,
I say
they're
using
like,
my iPad and
oh,
my phone
well,
and
you know,
iWatch.
Right.
the hardware's only this much, but you also need like a $700 phone in order to be able to order any of the games.
But to play the games on your phone, it's limited to Google Pixel devices at launch. So that does come into effect already.
Oh,
The Stadia controller's wireless functions will only work with Chromecast Ultra for some godforsaken reason.
Sure.
And only 12 titles will be available for purchase at launch. 14 more promised by the end of the year, but whatever. Yeah, that's a lot of shortfalls
Like,
there.
they couldn't have waited just a little bit longer to hash any of that stuff out. They had to launch now.
I guess, right? Had to capture that market pre-holiday season. The exact market of 10 people that probably pre-ordered the Founders, whatever.
Yeah, I bet they were just trying to beat, like, Black Friday or some shit. I don't know.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much support they said would be behind this. Like, oh yeah, we're going all in or whatever. And
Where
then
did the
there's
Google?
then there's this really tepid launch. So
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
Hooray.
like I hope that they can turn this around and make it into a really awesome product. But like, usually you want to put your best foot forward for
yeah.
launch, and
it's not looking good from the start, which is unfortunate.
Would you like a ramble? Would you like a ramble, real quick?
Sure.
So,
Do it.
Ubuntu release.
Yeah, huh?
Tepid taper. I don't know why that just popped in my head. Anyway,
Was it actually tepid?
No.
yeah,
Probably
like,
not, but I'm saying that could be one.
It very well could be.
Yeah.
But you use Arch.
Yes, correct.
I needed to say that.
Arch users need to say that.
We do. We need to convince ourselves very hard that we use Arch. Anyways, all right, that's all the news I got to spew about.
Cool,
So,
I get to ramble.
Next.
So, Death Stranding finally released.
Yeah.
That Hideo Kojima title where you're wearing a fetus.
That's a delivery simulator, apparently.
Yeah.
That was
Blows my mind.
I looked at the trailers as it was getting closer, and I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah,
It's
right?
a
So it was-
Kojima title.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I
don't-
should have expected
Don't
no
expect
less,
to understand,
but
I
yeah.
suppose.
So, yeah, as expected, there's lots of hype. There's lots of not so hype.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
very polarizing, like almost every other Kojima game.
Yeah, my friends generally look on it positively, but like for the most part, there's really not a whole lot of ruckus about it.
There's
Like-
some fabulous speed tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm glad.
Adam is not Richard Stallman, okay?
Oh
No.
no! Please do
God, I
not
hope
compare me to
not.
RMS. RMS is. I'm not.
Ooh.
I'm not going to talk about RMS.
Yeah. Let's not
Not
go
after
there.
last month, anyway.
Yeah.
Please,
especially
let's not
after
go
last
there.
month.
Go Google it.
But yeah, I'm glad people like it. I'm glad people are really hype and having fun with Death Stranding. I won't get into it myself, but hey, cool. I'm glad people like it.
Oh no.
That's nice.
Just blind Imgerlink, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, I'm not
tap
clicking that.
Ooh, Gentoo beard. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Now I'm clicking it.
Ubuntu,
Yeah.
Fedora, Debian, Argent.
Oh,
Gentoo.
but that last beard flows like a river. I love it.
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did try Gen 2 at one time, and then I gave up 2 days in. So.
And you're like,
Yeah.
and we're done.
Yep. Like
So-
that's too raw for me. I'm sorry.
I am happy to be in the middle of that scale because Debian and I are bros.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Kojima's already working, or rather has ideas, shrug. At least he's mentioned publicly that he has ideas for other future horror games and other things that aren't in the horror genre. So that's interesting.
And he's also expressed interest, a lot of interest in doing movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
shows
I
Chuck
am.
Productions.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
I think he could be a better version of Shyamalan. Honestly. Like, not me being a weird
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
shit.
not to knock his games or anything, but I think he might be better at making movies than games.
I mean, well, we did watch Metal Gear Solid 4 as a movie.
Right?
I'm really hoping that like at some point, like they're just like just shovel a whole bunch of money at Kojima and just be like, make what you want, and like
He still has the command of, I'm going to make something here, vomit money at me.
yeah,
So,
I
may as
suppose
well
it is
take
on the other side of
advantage
it.
that.
He's more like, this is the kind of budget I am going to need to make the thing that I want. Pay me.
$10 billion.
Well, speaking of that now, that
Oh,
like
no.
the one negative thing that I've kind of heard very commonly about Death Stranding is product placement.
yeah,
Yeah.
monster.
Specifically. Yes,
Oh my God,
like
how did
it's
you-
just
extremely
everywhere.
How do you place that product, though? I mean,
they found a way.
Gamers.
Gamers. This isn't Game Fuel. Come on.
yeah.
Gamers rise up.
Mountain Dew does not have a flavor for Death Stranding. Oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, that's the Gentoo beard. Sorry.
Ugh.
Gentoo beard flavored. Why?
It's fuzzy. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're done.
Ugh.
Yep.
I regret
Well.
many things now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And we're done. All right, cool. Anyway, it's already not it. Wow, Death Stranding. Getting back to that, already received a review bomb on Metacritic, as
As
these
you do.
things do.
Surprise.
And it's announced officially that it'll have a PC release in the summer of 2020, which I
Sure.
guarantee you will make it even more fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Sword and Shield released today.
Oh, controversy.
Amidst a lot of things.
Controversy. Oh boy.
I'm not going to go into that a whole lot because y'all probably already saw it. However, Toby Fox of Undertale and Deltarune Acclaim has actually written a track for the OST. Was invited by Nintendo and was just like, yes.
He's like, nah.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
Nah.
he already beat Sakurai in order to get a character into Smash, so...
To get a costume for a character into Smash.
Well,
Yeah.
still...
Yes.
Sans
Close
isn't
enough.
Sans Undertale. It's a costume. Everybody just calm down. Put down a towel. Just
but Sans isn't Smash.
Wow.
yeah. No.
See,
No,
what we
he is
really
not,
need...
but close.
We need some more Bone Trestle. Anyway,
Yeah.
good song. Anyhow,
It's a good song.
uh-huh. Yeah. Papyrus, though. Anyway, speaking of controversial things, Game Freak has been under intense scrutiny after several expectations for Sword and Shield are unmet, leading to the Game Freak Light hashtag trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done
But
with my
like,
news.
just some of that stuff is just so weird. Like, I'm just gonna mention one thing that showed up on my timeline today, and it was all like, oh, well, someone decided to extract the list of Pokemon and the entire script from the game, and look what's in there, every single Pokemon. And, it's like that's... like, why would they spend the time to go in there and, like, remove strings,
I've got very strong opinions about this, but I will not share them tonight.
Yeah.
At least during the mic being live.
Yes, also
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, because now I'm curious.
Hmm.
I actually canceled my pre-order, so there we go.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really play Sun and Moon or whatever, Sun 2, Moon 2, I think those were things.
Yeah.
But, like,
I have not been paying attention since Gen 4 and a little of Gen 5.
Gen 5 is legit.
Don't know. Never really got into any of it myself. So
Yeah,
I
Absolutely fair.
I have no nostalgic connection to any of it.
I did
Okay.
Gen 1 and 2, and I'm done.
Omega, we're all white guys doing a podcast. That's
That is the
podcasty
definition
enough.
of the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
is
so,
hey, what's a
yeah.
group of white guys with mediocre opinions?
Yeah.
A podcast.
and alcohol.
I mean,
Sure.
I only have a developer's opinion, and that doesn't matter to fans. So,
True. Very true.
Yeah, fuck the devs.
Brutal.
Hey, I meant that in the please fuck the devs way.
Yeah, please.
Not get fucked devs, but
Yeah.
Exactly.
please fuck the devs.
Exactly. You're an arch user.
I am an art user. I depend on the devs for a lot of things.
Yeah. It's symbiotic,
Better than probiotic, I guess.
No,
What?
but
What?
Whatever. Hi, I'm
Okay.
done.
Next.
Moving
Oh
on.
my god.
How do you follow that?
With AMD releasing the freaking 3950X.
Not
Good
yet.
Lord. Soon.
Well,
The
the
25th.
reviews. So the reviews are out.
Yeah, the
and the
embargo lifted
reviews.
2
The
days ago.
specs are there.
The reviews are glowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm an avid follower of Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus and just a number of other channels that review a lot of new hardware coming out, and everyone seems to be very pleasantly surprised with AMD's up and coming 3950X. Tormod and I recently, I think after determining that we had no idea when this processor was going to come out,
Yeah, it
we
was
went
already
with
delayed.
Yeah, we
so
went-
everything was supposed to come out on July 7th because of 7 nanometer. Let's
Yeah.
release it on 7/7.
Yeah.
Fair,
And then
fair,
they're all
fair.
like, no, we're going to do this eventually some other time. September. Oh, wait, sorry, not the 3950. And then I was just like,
yeah.
I've had these parts sitting on a shelf for months. I need to test this before the return policy expires.
Yeah.
Because I had some bad hardware in my last build. I want to make sure that was good. So, yeah, after waiting 3 months, we finally saw some 3900s in stock at Best Buy
Of all places.
What a
for,
weird
for
place for
MSRP instead of being marked up like
Yep.
fucking do
Everywhere
Amazon.
else
What a
marked
weird
the
place.
heck up on the 3900s.
So, yeah, I said fuck it. I bought one for myself. The day later said fuck it, bought one for you.
Yep.
And now I'm going to buy a 3950X.
Yeah, of course you are.
The reason I'm interested, though, okay, so I knew the binning was going to, favor the best processor and such, but so it turns out that the binning for the 3950X is so much greater than the 3900 that it boosts, despite having its base clock be lower, will consistently boost higher because it requires less voltage to run the individual cores so that it runs cooler and therefore boosts higher.
Okay.
Yeah. When the reviewers were running thermals, they're like, we ran that again because we weren't really sure that what we were seeing was right.
It's so much cooler than 3900.
I mean, not significantly, but noticeably cooler, despite the fact that it has greater throughput and 4 more cores.
I'd say 5 to 15 degrees centigrade is pretty significant.
This is pretty big.
None of the reviewers I saw were getting 15 less, but 5 less was pretty common.
All right, well, I've seen things.
But yeah,
That's a jump.
yeah,
Yeah.
and fewer watts, lower temps, just
Yeah, lower power consumption too, with more threads.
Right. So the real question that I have regarding that is, if it's so well binned, then how are they going to produce these in volume enough to meet demand?
They're not.
So
So-
generally, yeah, they
Good
produced a bunch
luck.
of these up front, and then
Right.
they determined, the ones that were gonna like run the absolute best. They just held back,
Well, for sure.
and then
yeah.
after they had a product launch and let the 3900s go for a while, they're like, okay, let's open the floodgates and let the 3950s go.
Yeah, so instead of using the ZHB gaming PC, I'm going to build another
Just freaking chef's kiss,
You
like.
just gotta wait, man. Just gotta be
I know.
patient.
Mhm.
one. Hey, I'm not jumping on the Threadripper train because,
Good
my
lord.
fuck.
Yeah, I was reading the
Yeah.
specs about those.
Yeah,
I'm like,
speaking of the Threadripper train, they're talking about like
72 lanes!
the 3960X and the 3970X, which run on TR. They're slated for later this month.
32 and 48 cores?
Yeah.
Threads? Cores.
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 That's just
Heard rumors of the 64 core
ridiculous.
ones.
Yeah, the 3990. Yet
Yep.
unannounced, coming out in December. Anyway, hi. Yeah, I'm not doing that this time. I'm fine. Yeah, okay, I should say this though. So, obviously Threadripper has two major advantages. One
Mhm.
being quad channel RAM, the other being the massive addition of PCI Express lanes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this architecture also has PCI Express 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
It has a few different chipsets based on what kind of features you need.
Mhm.
I've never actually looked too much into those yet. I
It's
didn't
really
need
just
to.
their server architecture released for mainstream users.
Well, we can say that with the announcement of those two Threadripper SKUs that have been announced so far, that they are not backwards compatible with X399, even
Mhm.
though it's the same socket, slot, whatever.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah, because they've been trying to hold the same sockets down for long term.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna do probably one, if not two more generations using the same form factor for both the
Interesting.
Zen 3 and whatever the 4000 series Threadrippers are.
Right.
None
know
of
they're
us
gonna
believed that they
diverge.
were going to hold that for very long, but
But
Yeah.
still,
they've been really good about it for the consumer processors.
Zen, Zen Plus, Zen 2, Zen 3, and maybe another one, supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wait till they take over to the next one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm too far on the tail end of this one to really
Yeah.
consider doing it.
Oh no, that absolutely makes sense. But
Yeah.
those are distinct advantages there. But I wanted to go the consumer route this time because the 16-core 32-thread processor was only $750.
Mhm.
It did not require a more expensive Threadripper board and the associated hardware. So I was like, cool, let me find a board that has enough slots for my graphics card and two capture cards.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time these days now, motherboard manufacturers say, fuck it, we're going to have all of these 16x slots and we'll just negotiate the lanes down based on what you put in the PC. Fine. That is apparently a function of PCI Express multiplexing, I've learned. But in any case, it turns out that, with the amount of lanes that are dedicated for PCI Express that aren't storage, because, spoilers, that's a thing now with M2, and specifically NVMe, it will run your GPU at X8 if you have anything in the secondary X16 slot, which is all fine and good. There's 3 slots. They'll run X8, 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 X4.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. So the data path capture cards that we use, the E2S, are an X4 interface that use an X8. Yes.
No, they
Slot, I'm pretty sure.
they go all the way up to X16. However,
Do they?
or wait, no, that's an X4 slot. I'm sorry,
The physical
but like the
form,
ones.
I thought was an X4 still.
So
Was it
it's
still?
it's
I thought
weird
so.
because like we have the card that has like it's got
Oh, the AVHD is the one that has the plastic that goes all the way to the full
yeah,
X16.
okay, maybe I'm
Oh,
thinking
really?
of
But not
that.
the pins.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's
I
X4
guess that makes sense.
otherwise.
Yeah, I
which I
haven't
mean,
s-
like people don't stick X4 slots in boards. It's either
Yeah,
X1 or,
or
X16.
X16.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. They used to, but they don't now.
Yeah.
But in any case, so there's been a lot of hubbub about you'll have heard this initialism many times now, AGESA.
Mm-hmm.
That is essentially the microcode that gets updated in the BIOS for boost frequencies and hardware compatibility and the IMC firmware and such. So a big thing is now with the release of Zen 2 and AGESA 1.0.0.4 revision B, they've now converged. So all of the previous firmwares, instead of being their own trees, all converge on this. So Zen, Zen Plus, Zen 2, all use AGESA, this new build. Fine. Unfortunately, I went to go flash my BIOS because they have all these promises of faster boost speeds, and now they have an eco mode that you can turn on, that kind of thing, where it'll run it as a 65 watt processor instead of a 95 watt, losing 10% performance and getting significantly lower power draw. I'd want to bench that. I want to see if I can still do my stream encoding and play games. I think that's reasonable to try to do. I want to save some power.
Mind shaving 10% off the top. That's hardly noticeable.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I went to go apply that BIOS, and it sat. And it sat.
Oh boy.
And it sat. 15 minutes later, it finally got past the boot screen. Then I got into the BIOS, and it sat. And it sat. And initially I thought, what the fuck? This thing must be running my CPU at like 50 megahertz or something. No, I'm looking at the little status indicator saying, okay, what's the current frequency and what's the voltage and everything else, and it looks nominal. Interesting. And I start poking around, and I go into the tools area of the Asus motherboard BIOS, and it has the GPU post. So you can see, hey, what's my GPU? What's it running at? How many lanes is it using, etc. And it hangs. So you leave it sit. 15 minutes later, it shows something. Okay. Well, I tried to boot into Windows. 30 minutes later.
Oof.
And you know how in Windows 7, back when boot times actually took time, it had the little rotating circle with the little orbs thing? Yeah, so this was going... And I was just like, what the fuck? And I finally let it go long enough, 45 minutes later, that I got into Windows. And once I was in, it was fine.
WTF.
And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try streaming. I open up Vision window. No hardware found. Okay.
Intriguing.
I open up Device Manager. No erroneous devices, nothing marked with an exclamation point. It just wasn't there. Okay. So I use the BIOS flashback utility. Well, first I tried to go into the BIOS again after waiting an absurd amount of time to get back into the BIOS.
Yeah, you spent like a whole day in this process.
2 days.
Oh.
But I went back into the QFlash 3 utility because you can flash the BIOS from within the BIOS. Fine.
Right.
And it kept saying that the old BIOS was an invalid file. And I was just like, eh? So eventually I just said, fuck it, and tried using a USB 3 flash drive and the USB 3 BIOS flashback slot, turn the machine off, push the button, wait for it to blink a few times, and I waited an hour and nothing happened. It looked like it was trying to do something, and I turned the PC back on a 15-minute post later, and it's still at the old or the new version. Huh. Well, fortunately, I still had one of those fancy, slow as shit flash drives from back at S&C. 256 megabyte piece of shit. USB 2.0 flash drive worked first time. Okay. So I flashed back to BIOS revision 1003, I think it was.
ABBA. I don't know.
Well, yeah. No, it was 1.0.0.3 ABBA. Yeah. They had so many sub-revisions of... Anyway. Yeah, and it was absolutely fine. Immediately got into the Windows. Everything was great. Saw all the hardware.
Weird.
So I flashed it back to the old, or the newest one. Hung again. So I'm looking around online, and this was right when it came out. So, of course, trying to find anything was like showing me when they had that version of AGESA for older processors. So it was showing me stuff from 2 years ago. And then finally things are starting to trickle in, and they're saying, hey, if I have a sound card and a GPU, it doesn't post. Interesting. I don't have a dedicated sound card. But, like...
Who does?
Well, apparently a lot of people have the Asus Sonar XT cards. Because that was the big search result that came up.
Yeah, right. Sonar cards are pretty good, though.
Yeah, and it's absolutely fine. They have great DACs.
Yeah.
Anyway, So I'm doing some research, and Gigabyte users, ASRock users, Asus users, not a majority of them, but I'm starting to see this like, hey, if I have blank installed, I can't post. And some of these motherboards don't have the ability to flashback, so they're fucked.
Oof.
Because now it says on the warning before you download that BIOS revision, you can't flashback to a previous BIOS. Well, of course you can with flashback, but only like the premium boards can do that.
Yeah.
They have specific support for it.
Yeah, the
So-
fancy ass ROG ones and stuff that we use let us do that.
I think initially I thought this was a AGESA bug, and it probably still is, but it's not so much that all of the slots are occupied. I think it's that the X16 second slot, if it sees something in there, it just shits the bed. And I can't imagine they wouldn't have tested a hardware configuration like that. If people are like, oh, just mash the reset CMOS button, it's fine. No, it doesn't do anything. So something's fucked. And a lot of these new features that everybody's touting, you know, the improved boost frequencies of about 200 megahertz on, you know, and the combination of the Windows 10 1909 scheduler being intelligent enough to choose the most speediest speediest single thread of them all. I can't benefit from that because I can't get my fucking machine to post.
Womp.
Yeah.
So
And based on that, didn't they yeet it like that update right off the site?
yeah, no, they put it back.
Oh.
So there's some people expressing concerns on the Asus ROG forums. Fine. But then they're like community helpers are basically saying, "Oh, well, that's not true. You're dumb. Bye." And I'm like,
Great
it's not
support.
even the official like Asus people,
Mhm.
but like the I'm going to take charge and be a community leader. People are like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
go fuck off." And I'm like,
like the MVP is in the WoW forums.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You got
Or
green
even on
text.
Microsoft, yeah, like with TechNet
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
But
but like that's all.
So there is an issue. I imagine it's very specific to the hardware configurations, but you know, if enough people say it, look into it maybe.
Yeah.
Like, oh goodness. So
yeah.
that I guess is the very long-winded roundabout way to say, hey AMD, you put out great hardware, but your drivers and your firmware suck. Still. Same thing
Yeah.
with their latest GPU releases, the 5700, the 5700
Oh, those have been
XT.
terrible for a long time.
Well, no, I'm saying the hardware's fabulous.
Yeah, the drivers
Yeah.
have been terrible for a long time.
They're better on Linux.
That's a stretch. And also a low bar to clear.
Right,
But-
Yeah.
but still, I mean, what the fuck? Like, I know it's the fine wine technology, as everybody's been calling it. It gets better with age. But, like, how do you bungle up so many releases in a row? Everybody's looking to you to be a market leader. You're starting to take over and get at least 10% of the server market. You know, Epic is a fantastic thing. What the fuck are you doing with all this money? Lisa Sue is just kind of like, give it all. I mean, I love the lady. She's done so much for AMD, but come on, like, R&D has been such a problem for them for a decade, more than a decade. Like, it just hasn't changed. They are the meme in making, you know, their eventual ebb and flow with competing with Intel and now obviously NVIDIA, but what the fuck? So here I am waiting for a new BIOS. Who knows when it'll come out? They're not acknowledging on the Asus forums. I ended up getting not the best X570 board. I was previously quite happy with the Crosshair Hero series because it was mid-range and it still had flashback and things like that. And it had worked in the past. But yeah, no. Meanwhile, that revision of the AGESA firmware was recently updated for X470 boards. So I updated our CHP PC yesterday. Yeah, no problems. Just
See,
fine.
the lesson here is to always buy last gen AMD, right?
You know, it's actually interesting though, because people are reporting better boost frequencies and more stable voltages on X470 over X570. Because PCI Express 4.0, when enabled, takes up so much more power. It actually has a dedicated CPU or a chipset fan.
True enough, yeah.
Things like that. Interestingly, back on the note of the 5700 and 5700 XT, bizarre errors in Windows when running the devices on PCI Express 4. If you manually convert them or configure them to use PCI Express 3 in the BIOS, they're fine.
Hmm. That would explain why a lot of their BIOS updates have been disabling PCI Express 4 support in non-top tier boards
Well, actually,
and
it's
chipsets.
so X570 is on paper the only chipset that's supposed to have PCIe 4, while in theory it can be enabled with a simple software update or BIOS update on previous chipsets, even like the B350 and the
Oh wow.
Well,
like-
that's just the thing. Some of the manufacturers had it enabled out the gate, and
Right.
then they had it disabled by an update.
Right, but even X570, those cards are having problems, and you need to manually run them in PCI Express 3 or lower, otherwise Windows will shit the bed.
Hooray. glad you pay a premium for awesome cards that should be using this upcoming technology and then have to roll back. That's
So
perfect.
Yeah.
I wanted to be fair and say, yeah, all this new hardware is really great. All the reviews are stellar. They're using their, the OEM provided here. This is the best hardware. Now give us a review kind of stuff. And obviously those are probably development boards with development firmware and all that other stuff, but they work. And that's the point. They're able to benchmark. They were vetted before the reviewers got them.
I mean,
It's
generally in
important-
those boards, all they're doing is throwing the CPU in, throwing a GPU in, and calling it a day.
Well, I get that, but I mean, like, I think it's important to also say, hey, while AMD's hardware is, rock star status right now, their software support continues to fail.
Yeah.
And I can be excited as I want to be about the 3950X and the upcoming Threadripper and probably the new one coming out in December, but it's good to be realistic.
Mhm.
Like, X570 seems like it was half-baked. 470 was fabulous.
Yeah.
They have some stuff to work through yet.
And I'm really curious what's going to end up happening with the two. I think there's two chipsets for Threadripper that are presently announced. There's one that's like the HE DT version, and then the one that's like a workstation version of it.
Hmm.
I wonder if they're going to have the same problems. I wonder if those boards are going to have chipset fans as well, because those obviously are going to use PCIe 4 and things like that. So, like, now it makes me a lot less likely to consider even going into Threadripper, at least at this point. At least with this year's boards.
Fair.
Like, give them a year and maybe they'll have firmware that works. I wish I weren't kidding.
Yeah.
So-
Nobody's laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm
We're
like,
just kind of like, yeah.
but I just felt it was important to say, yes, all of this good stuff, but here's all the other shit that
Yeah.
Yeah, for
people
sure.
are not acknowledging, because, like, I'm not the only one having this problem. It's not even the same manufacturer. It has to have something to do with AMD's code that was provided. Because the other firmware update with minimal changes to the BIOS works just fine.
Yeah.
So, I'd love to hear an update. If anyone's listening that has any kind of power, love you.
Yeah. All good?
Next.
Cool. All right. So we're going to put AMD stuff aside and let's talk sequels. So BlizzCon happened.
Oh, those kinds of sequels. Got it.
You were thinking of the other thing, weren't
I was
you?
thinking of databases.
So was I.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
Not
It's
that kind of
Let's think,
sequel.
let's see. My MS, Postgres.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We are not talking databases here. I'm out of work for the weekend. I don't want to be in work
Okay.
for the weekend.
Fair.
Just
That's
fuck
very
that
fair.
noise. I'm talking like 2 and 3, and then the franchise dies. Anyway.
Well, we're definitely not talking about Valve games then, okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah, they don't
say,
even get to
Oh,
3.
shit. That's brutal.
No threes over there. We start going into episode
Yeah.
1s and 2s.
Yeah. Valve can only
Alright.
count to 2. That's the meme. All right.
A 2 crunch.
Yeah. A
The
2.
world may never know.
A 2 episode 1, a 2 episode 2. No.
A 1,
Sorry.
a 2, a 1, 2.
Dang it.
Whoa.
Don't know why we hired them to be our drummer. Anyway, so BlizzCon happened, and if any of you remembered from
Sorry.
last year, when they announced Diablo Immortal.
Don't you have phones?
Yeah. Oh my god. So we didn't have quite as good of a moment this year as we did last year. But they
Hong
did.
Kong.
They did issue an apology, kind of like right up front. Apology.
Can I scare that quote?
Heavy
Hold up a sec.
air quotes.
Get an air traffic controller in here for these air quotes.
It was the most vague shit ever.
Woof.
It pretty much to the tune of, oh well, you know, we want to do the best for our fans.
Uh-huh.
No, you
So we
don't.
fucked up. Please continue to pay
Yeah,
us.
and then basically
Also, China, please don't bend us over.
yeah, nothing else like that. So, but then they turned around and tried to get people to forget it by announcing Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. Diablo 4 is what people wanted them to announce last year, and not Immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who likes
so we're
mobile
not
games?
going to see Diablo
A lot of
4
people do,
for a
apparently.
long time. But yeah, it was announced that they were working on it, and they were going to be spending some significant time and resources into it. So that's fun. I imagine we're going to see Overwatch 2 a bit sooner than Diablo 4.
Sure. No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Overwatch
I
2 is
do
probably
care.
just going to be more of the same. I'm not an Overwatch player and don't really care very much, but it's apparently a big deal to the people who do.
People
Alright,
do
so-
like it a lot. Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
can we just add,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
Blizzard to the list of like fuck Epic Games, fuck Blizzard, etc.
Oh my god,
yeah,
we've been
yeah,
saying
been
fuck
there.
Blizzard for like a decade.
I know,
by
but
now.
can we like make that a regular thing
Put
here?
them on top of the list here. Move them up the stack a little bit.
Yeah. No, as a longtime Blizzard fan, like, if it wasn't for WoW Classic, I probably would have written them off by now. So yeah. The only thing that saved me as a customer was the thing that they put out 15 years ago.
Now, if that doesn't say something, like,
Oh my god, yeah, it's yeah. So speaking of things released 15 years ago, so I haven't been playing WoW Battle for Azeroth at all because I don't care about it. But in Classic, they just recently put out Phase 2. And what that means is they put out the PvP honor system. And what that means is by killing other players, you can rank up in the system, gain points, gain ranks, new loot, good shit like that, right?
It's exclusive to PvP servers.
yeah.
Well, you can get it
Well,
on any
okay,
server,
fine,
but
if you can't kill
PvP
players-
servers, it's going to be really bad. And of course, it was. Having a good look at the forums on day one, which was yesterday, was like, fuck me, this is unplayable because I get killed every 5 steps. Yeah, and it's like, of course, you know, like you knew this was going to happen. Everyone knew that this was going to come out. So yeah, PvP rankings, and that is further encouragement for me to completely no life it. What? So
I didn't have to say anything.
No.
I don't know if that showed up. There was a heavy side eye going on.
see, I'm for those not able to see the video, like that side eye just burned through my face and like right into the door behind me.
That's
My
wide
door!
open.
Yeah. That's why it closes even easier now.
Oh yeah, gotta shave it off.
God damn it.
One
Just
stare at a
replace
time.
that for the left
Yeah.
side eye.
Dang it.
Yeah, so oh gosh. So yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
I attained rank 10 back when it was a relevant thing. And that's like you had to basically spend 20 to 30 hours a week
Jesus.
Killing other people?
Wow, killing other people. That's
Hey,
all
that
you
sounds like
spent
most
your
of my
time
friends'
doing.
college experience.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, but that was for games that were intended to be that way.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, it's gonna bring out the no lifer in all of the hardcore WoW Classic players. Joy.
Yay.
So
I'm glad people like it.
Yep.
I'm glad people like it.
I still like it. It's so good.
Harvesting noobs.
Yeah. So
level 1 slime. 5 billion later. Anyway.
so that's all for the Blizzard stuff.
Good.
But we're gonna continue on with sequels because everybody loves sequels.
I've had enough snow.
So Path of Exile, if anyone is familiar, is kind of like a like a
Really?
Diablo-like game, is
Uh-huh.
receiving a sequel. Path of Exile
No
2 has
shit.
been announced. Yes.
Oh,
Huh.
wait.
Interesting.
And it won't be a separate sequel. You can migrate your existing Path of Exile
Of
gear in
course
progress.
you can.
Hmm.
And
Because it's
Interesting.
Path of
yes,
Exile,
and
yeah.
on top of that, there's going to be a new 7-act story that takes place 20 years after the current game.
Curious.
And
So
is the skill tree going to be 5 times as large?
they are
Almost
well.
has to be
So
at this
it's
point.
reported that like they're overhauling like the game mechanics and stuff. So probably it's going to be a ridiculous freaking tree
Yeah.
because
As you do.
Path of Exile.
Yeah.
So.
Mhm.
Naturally.
Yeah, for sure.
So I personally have not gotten into Path of Exile. I almost did.
Yeah.
But like
you
every
chose
time I look
WoW.
at it, I'm like, I just look back at WoW or I look back at Diablo 1 and I'm like, yeah, okay, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it looks great. And like even as a non-Path of Exile player, I'm really excited to see what Path of Exile 2 brings. So yeah. Also speaking of sequels, Red Dead Redemption 2 landed on PC.
Yeah, it did.
It sure
yeah,
did.
that's been a bit of a performance nightmare for some people. Maybe a
it's
number
almost
of
like
people.
they didn't optimize the PC release at all.
Ooh, yeah, it's
Where have we seen this before?
yeah, the PC. Well, people are. I guess like reviews are calling it a port. I'm not really sure how much how true that rings, but like,
I mean, it's as port as wine is, I guess.
Wow.
Ha.
I want support now.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, yeah.
Fortified.
So
Hey,
we've
port's good.
seen
Shut
it.
up.
I know.
What's up?
Port is very good. Shut
Port,
up.
yeah, port. It also
delicious.
messes me up anyway.
Oh, as well it
as
should.
it-
Yeah. So yeah, so there have been numerous patches and stuff on part of both the video card manufacturers as well as the developers for Red Dead. So we'll I imagine we're gonna see that smooth out, but it was a bit of a rocky start for the PC release.
Will we?
Eventually, maybe.
Yeah.
Huh.
I usually give them about 3 months, and then after 3 months, when it comes to a AAA game, most people who are developing the game or the publishers have completely lost interest and moved on because that is the AAA schedule these days. Companies are only going to give a shit about it as long as it makes new money. So
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Seems like the Rockstar treatment.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I need all
Oof.
blue M&Ms. Wait, wrong Rockstar.
Yeah. And then finally, Outer Worlds landed. And
One of the 2 free games you could choose with an AMD Ryzen processor
Yep.
purchase.
And normally I wouldn't mention it, but like my friends won't shut up about it on Twitter.
Yeah, honestly,
Because it's
I
kind of
haven't
like-
seen a whole lot about it. Really.
Yeah,
What?
Outer Worlds is what they wanted out of a Fallout game
Really?
and didn't get out of a Fallout game.
Oh, so it's basically a good Fallout.
Like I haven't played it myself. I don't even know a whole lot about it, but
So is it a space-based Fallout or something?
Yeah.
Based on the name, I guess?
I mean, it's not like an open world thing. It's said to be a bit, leaning towards like the closed world thing, so it's got a bit of like a narrative and all that other stuff and like a path that you take through, but a lot of the mechanics in Outer Worlds are like things that people were expecting out of like the newest, like iteration of Fallout games. So it yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like another successful launch.
So, for completion's sake, the other free game you could choose is Borderlands 3, both of which require the Epic Games Launcher.
Womp.
Yeah,
That's
Wait.
a hard
Borderlands
pass.
is a little less
Wait,
surprising,
wait.
but
What? How did I miss that? It requires Epic Games Launcher?
Because that's
Dang.
the store they released it on.
Is that like a limited time exclusive, or is just that
Phew.
just a thing?
I
It's-
think
I
it's
missed
1
that.
year for Borderlands, right?
yeah,
Okay,
it's been
yeah.
like
Most
either
of their
6 months or 1
exclusives
year.
have been that.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
it's been
Oh,
out
that's
for a
the
little
same
while
thing
already,
for
so...
Goose Game too, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I remember you mentioning that. I just hadn't heard about that for Borderlands. That's interesting. I mean, I played that franchise on Xbox anyway, so
Well, yeah, fair, but
But
I figured I'd mention it.
Still, yeah, that's disappointing to hear.
Yep. That's going to be all the news I've got.
So then we're on to some Toonskis, huh?
Ah,
Finally.
I know that was a long rant.
We've
about
had a
AMD.
show and a half already. Come
We
on.
have.
and I haven't even rambled yet.
Oh my god.
Yes, you have.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
All right, well, a familiar name to some. The Voyage Begins by Pavos from Skies of Arcadia.
Then a remix from Bionic Commando entitled Infiltration by Sinus.
And then I've got Numbness and Knives from Silent Hill 2 by Hoboka.
Meep.
Da, da,
Wait, what was this one?
Oh my God.
Oh, I thought you were doing the frickin' map theme from Yoshi's Island.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Those Wikipedia titles aren't nearly as entertaining.
yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so
Collected. I'm good.
you good?
I'm back.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay, well,
Didn't
we've got
take
another song break
Oh,
coming up in like
God.
20 minutes, so
Oh,
we're
God.
good. So what have we all been playing?
Pathfinder, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with Vlad, and Honk, the Untitled Goose Game.
Oh my God, that game is amazing.
It's pretty great.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of watching the trailer before like playing through the game.
Wait, you played it?
No, I didn't play it, but like I watched the trailer before starting to play through it or watching you play through it.
There you go.
And gosh, like some of the most hilarious things are totally spoiled for me now.
Womp.
Like honking into a bottle or honking into a harmonica.
Oh my God, the harmonica
No,
is so
stop!
good.
Spoilers! Come on, I want to play this in a year once it's off of Epic Games
You'll
Store.
forget.
You're
Don't
still
worry
gonna
about it.
lose your shit when you hear that. It's so good.
It's
Oh,
fantastic,
yeah.
good shit.
Yeah. There's some very interesting speed tech in that
Oh.
game.
Oh my God, the speed tech is great. Like people have already figured out how to beat it in like 3 minutes and change.
Jeez, wow.
Clipping.
Yeah, I did hear a bit about that.
I wish I could get through walls and gates and shit like that.
Yeah, you can.
You gotta
Open
try.
them.
Yeah.
Climb over.
Sometimes they're locked, Tormod.
You've got hands and you've got legs with which to jump the small gates,
true.
And some sick lock picking skills.
and some sick lock picking skills.
I'm
See?
sorry,
There
you're
you
not
go.
Darian Alassi in real life.
Oh.
Womp.
I think that was your character's name?
Yeah, I'm really
Shit.
shocked that you like nailed it.
Wow. All right. Neat.
Yeah.
Cool. I can remember absolutely pointless information,
Yeah,
but I can't
I-
remember
I-
a name from a
Welcome
real
to the
person.
human condition.
You haven't been in that
No.
campaign for like over a year, almost two, and you just
more than that.
really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's been close to 3
Right.
or 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe you can still recite that. That's kind of wild.
My burning hatred anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, those are the only games I played, I think. Pretty sure.
I don't know. Wait a minute. I don't know.
Whatever.
Can you tell me what I have played? No.
No. Unless you wrote it down here, I can't tell you shit about shit.
Yeah. So I've also been playing Pathfinder. I have a weekly game, and I have a bi-weekly game on the weekends.
But
So-
which bi-weekly is it?
Ugh.
Which one is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Every other week, I would
every
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am bi-weekly. Anyway.
Hourly? There's no small enough time for this to be just... Anyway.
Do, 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 do.
No. Stop it.
That's your cue to move along.
All right. So
Uh,
yeah, on top of that, I've of course been playing WoW Classic, super binging on that shit. Been playing a bit of DDR. But I've also picked up pretty significantly on Pump It Up. They have Pump It Up 20 at the Dave & Buster's locally here, which is kind of awesome. And yeah, that's come with its own set of like, you know, unique challenges and stuff like that. So I am currently working through like my plateau is about like level 15 right now. And like they make songs that are just way more ridiculous than that.
so 15 on a scale of what?
So I'm not really sure how high it goes. However, there is a method of sorting songs in the game, which allows you to sort, you know, difficulties out by like their difficulty level, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you can be like, you know, I want a single difficulty of like, you know, level 14 or whatever. You can go in through that. And they have a category that says over 24. So it's
Okay.
like at that point,
Okay.
they just all
Very
like, you know
good.
what? Fuck it. Like, we're going to give up. You're already probably stupid pro anyway. But I am not near that. Not by a long shot.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty good. Like on DDR, my you know, I can play most 10s. Well, the scale has changed, so it's closer to like I can play most 15s and 16s, but like beyond that is beyond my ability to do. So I feel like I've reached kind of the same sort of like skill cap in Pump It Up. Like I'm as good at Pump It Up as I am at DDR, except for like the doubles, which is something else I'm practicing. But I've been playing a lot of rhythm games and stuff lately, and that's been a blast. So, but that's pretty much it. I haven't really picked up anything new in the last month. A lot of the last month has been either World of Warcraft or a whole shitload of open source development. Like I've been getting into that, doing a lot of stuff for like, you know, Xtron interfaces, working on getting everything migrated over to .NET Core 3, and I want to release the serial, like SNES serial code that we did, that we used for our Zelda sync thing.
Yep.
Should mention something briefly about that. How we had lunch with other Tom
Yes.
weekends ago, and seems to be interested in trying to develop that further. So we'll probably be chatting with Tom about all sorts of fun Link to the Past randomizer shenanigans.
Yeah, if you're still
Very
here,
good.
and it looks like you are,
Wave, yes.
get with me after the show. All
The
right,
not
so
so private repo now.
yeah. So I'll eventually open that repo up. It's going to be really cool. So anybody who has like an SD to SNES and a serial cable that can hook up to that,
Oh,
Yeah.
we need to test that with the SD to SNES Pro now too.
Mm-hmm.
It should, in theory, have the same interface. But
If they
you
have
never
the
know.
same API, it's going to work out of the
Yeah.
box.
I think
Do
it's
that
the
different.
same firmware base for now, but we'll
Yeah.
find out. Anyway, hi.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun thing. It's kind of like a hybrid of like 6502 and C#. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Technology, man.
It's
I
like
love it.
making a SNES game in C#.
Technology from the late 70s combined with technology from the 2010s. All
Fun
right.
with that.
Yay.
So yeah. And in addition to that, I've been working a lot more on like reverse engineering for like rhythm games and stuff, especially on the PS2. So there's there's a private project that I'm working on that's going to have a whole lot of stuff on the horizon for that. But like needless to say, I've spent a lot less time playing games
Womp.
and a lot more like open source development, including developing a platform upon which I will attempt to develop some games of my own.
Nice.
So it's going to be a good time. It'll be a good year next year.
Here's hoping.
Cool stuff.
Vlad, is there anything
Okay,
you've been
yeah,
playing
so-
that you'd
so
like to share with
this
the
is
class?
Me on the spot.
Sorry, I can go first
Yeah.
if you'd like some time to
Oh,
think
we all
about it.
we all
I'm
play
good.
games here.
So yeah, I have my own Twitch channel where I try to do weekly streams and usually succeed. Usually Friday nights. Anyway,
Not tonight,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
You're watching
clearly
this.
hello.
You're hosting
yeah,
this channel, right?
So I didn't set that up. I probably should have. Oh well.
Restream.io, what?
No, we don't use that anymore.
I know.
Anyways, lately over on my channel, I've been streaming through Portal 2. I did briefly also replay the original Portal, but it's a short game. You all know how that goes.
Yeah.
But
Still a lot of
yeah, I played Portal back in like early high school, and I didn't play the second one because all of my computers were potatoes at the time, and I wanted to wait till I had something decent. And then I just
Appropriate.
kind of never got
Mhm.
around to it, and
Fair.
so I wanted to stream through, Portal and my first playthrough of Portal 2. So I did that. I streamed it. It was fantastic. I had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
I have recordings of all of it, and someday I will actually get around to uploading some of my Let's Plays to YouTube. But, so that's been a major focus. The last few weeks I've been working through the multiplayer co-op campaign with another friend of mine, so we've been co-streaming that. So we just finished up the DLC levels on that last week. Aside from Portal, I haven't had a whole lot of time to put into, regular gaming on anything in particular, but I've picked up a couple things at a friend's house, just, enjoying myself briefly. Yeah. Oh, hey, he's in chat. Hi. Just wasn't sure if you were actually around. Hey, Eric. Yeah, so at a different friend's house, he bullied me into trying out System Shock 2, which is a game that I
Ooh,
actually
yeah.
Interesting.
pointed out to him years ago because I was interested in it, but at the time I was still working through the Half-Life games, and so I never actually got around to playing System Shock 2. That was actually Halloween. That's how I spent my evening on Halloween after working a murder shift. Was chilling and playing System Shock 2 until stupid hours of the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And,
As one does.
As one does.
As
That
one
game-
always does.
That game is actually pretty fantastic. I really thoroughly enjoyed getting started in it. I am probably going to stream that eventually. I did already purchase it for myself, so yeah, that'll be a fun one. Probably just gonna start a new playthrough from scratch, just because I would rather make some different decisions, because a lot of that game is attempts to be based on decisions you make, and B, it would be just good to have complete footage. Also, your timing is excellent, Eric. Sorry. Anyway, another game I briefly got to try out was Subnautica Below Zero, which is still in alpha at this point. They're still working on it. But
Shout outs to Ben Prunty for the music.
Yeah.
Ben Prunty, my boy.
yeah.
Prunty does some
Love
fantastic
him.
Grunty
stuff.
is
So
pretty
good.
outstanding.
But yeah, I did I annoyed my friend by doing a run of that in hardcore because it wasn't my machine and I knew I wouldn't keep the save file anyway. So I was like, screw it, and
Fair.
spent
fair.
like 3 hours until I died. So that was fun. What that did do is re-inspire me to want to go back and actually finish Subnautica because I never did that. So now that I have a PC that might actually be able to handle streaming it, I'll probably get around to that at some point in the next few months ish. So we'll see. Other than that, as Tormod mentioned, we played Mario Kart a while ago. I have plans to stream this weekend, just not tonight. So I'll probably make some kind of announcement about that in my channel when I do. I haven't been able to play any Smash in a while, and I've been enjoying Smash Ultimate, but I don't own a Switch, so like I kind of just get on it as I
it's
can.
hard to play a game without the system on which it is on.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice over the summer when all my friends were home from college. We could, like hang out and play Switch, but it happens. But definitely enjoying that where I can. I probably would sink a lot of time into that game if I had a Switch, which is part of why I haven't bought a Switch. But you know how that goes. Just because I'm rambling on the topic now, but another game I'm really looking forward to, but not sure I'll actually get right away, is the Master Chief Collection when it comes out for PC, because Halo was a big part of my adolescence, so for sure. But anyway, I think that's mostly covers it for me.
Yeah, the complete anthology.
Something like that.
So you mentioned System Shock 2, and I'm thinking I might be able to spin the original System Shock up on my retro box, because I think that's a DOS game, isn't it? Or is that an early Win95 game?
Yeah,
it's one of those.
That one never made it to a re-release, or at least not yet. But they're trying to remake it, aren't they? They're working on a remaster version.
That does sound plausible.
Yeah, I did a little bit of research when I was going and buying System Shock 2. So
that might be something that I decide to pick up, because I have not played a System Shock game, and I'm told that System Shock 2 is the amazing System Shock game, and the first one was a bit less polished, but I'm a retro.
One was getting. I only got a few hours into it, but it definitely has it's very well put together. It has a mood and a feel. And you can see how it inspired later games. That's something that I've had a lot of conversations with other gamer friends about, is how some early games, the Half-Life franchise, is particularly dear to me. And how those things affect things over time. But System Shock 2 is a great example of that.
It is so bizarre to call Half-Life an early game.
It sort of still is, though.
It is a little bit.
It's been 20 years at this point.
Yeah,
call it.
Put some classic plates on that baby.
It just barely predates, the turn of the new millennium, where gaming changed and hasn't changed a whole lot since. Besides loot boxes and online connectivity.
Well, VR is starting to percolate its way through things, but
VR has tried to start up and not quite succeed many times in the last 3 decades, if not more.
But
so I really hope
getting
that
closer.
I really hope that it becomes a more significant technology and just more widespread. But
well, I mean, at least it's starting to get mainstream enough that you have you can go to a VR parlor to play VR games, or most games that are major titles have a VR option, stuff like that.
So when I was in I want to say I was high school or something like that, I went to Six Flags, and they had this VR booth basically.
Oh yeah.
And you can go in there and you could play Sin. The original Sin, which is, a Quake 2 engine-based game from 1998. But you had this headset you would just throw on, and it was this just bulky piece of shit. But
so first gen Oculus,
wearing a CRT monitor on your face.
It was
those
just
neck
so
muscles
significant.
nice and strong.
But that was the coolest thing ever, and to see just how far it's come since then.
For sure.
They had something similar to that at Summerfest.
Oh yeah,
once.
That does remind me. There is one other game I've played. If you can you can call it a game, and then people will hate you. I played some iRacing with a friend. He got it set up with VR, and I got to do some of that on his sim rig. He's got the full pedals and wheels set up and all that.
Ooh,
and I gotta
nice.
say, like, playing it in VR was definitely different to playing it on a screen, because I've used his setup before.
Yeah.
And like,
When you have all the control mechanisms, it's way
feels a
more
lot
awesome.
more natural
Yeah.
to do it in VR. Like, even the same like interface, the same wheel and pedals and gear shift and all that. Like, having the VR did add to the experience quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that was enjoyable. I think for like a sim setting, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So curiously though, like your viewpoint from VR, does it include your steering wheel as part of what you see?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it'd just be like, well, you're looking out the window and you don't see what you're doing.
Yeah, no, iRacing has the whole interior of the cars
Okay.
modeled as well, so you can see
That's
all
nice.
the steering wheel and out the
Phew.
windows.
But I mean,
and
like, as you're turning, does it turn in the game and stuff too? Like,
as you're turning what?
like the steering wheel, like.
Oh yeah. The
So
wheel
does it
turns and
respond?
there
Okay.
are driver hands
Right, yeah.
that you see. So like you have hands in the game.
Sure.
And, like,
yeah. Okay.
There were like times where like my brain was tricked by the illusion enough that like I think the hands that I'm seeing are my hands when they're not actually my
Yeah,
hands.
Yeah.
And then it's disconcerting when like I move my hand to like scratch myself or something and,
And
the
it's
hand
still
is
the- yep.
yeah.
Oh no, my hand!
It works. It's not
Nice.
bad.
It's like, well, at the very least, that one's going off screen. Eh.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
And like
Huh.
there's an actual rear view mirror that you have to look up and check, stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, recent VR experiences of mine have been pretty positive.
Yeah,
too.
for
Like
sure.
the most recent one was last time we were at PAX for
Oh my
2016.
god, the VR panel that I went to while we were at PAX, like that was before that point, I didn't really have a whole lot of faith in like VR as a technology in general. But like throwing that headset on, and like that's one of the older, dev headsets for Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I was really taken back about like how well it worked, and they've like only gotten better since.
For sure.
Yeah, it's incredible. You think it's kind of like this, it's a fad, it'll die out again.
Yeah.
And that's certainly true for shit that just kind of tries to capitalize on it for its own sake, and
Yeah.
they don't really
But then
do
display
much.
link
for that,
became
yeah.
a thing, so
Yeah.
I'm real
And then
curious to
that,
see what
and
uses
then
it.
iterations of the controls, and then the
That's
panels
true.
have gotten better,
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
we have like 4
Controllers
or
are-
5 different major manufacturers actually producing usable headsets and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Including Lenovo?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, all
Like,
I've
it's
had the
Lenovo.
chance to try yet has been the Vive and the Rift, but I've had great experiences with both.
Vive
There's-
and the Rift and the Galaxy, whatever they call it,
Yeah.
and the Lenovo, whatever, and the
Yeah, yeah.
Microsoft HoloLens, which is more AR than VR, but whatever, and
And now, I know PlayStation and
PlayStation
Xbox
also-
Oh,
working
yeah.
on one, and now Valve's coming out with the
yep,
Index.
Index, yep.
Yeah,
So there's some
a lot
support
going on.
behind it now. There's some movement.
Mhm.
If it ever gets below multiple thousands of dollars to do something effective, I'll buy into
Well,
it.
yeah.
But
it's interesting too because I did get the chance to dink around with like how mobile VR, where like the whole like Google Cardboard kind of based
Mhm.
idea stuff, like that's actually kind of decent for certain applications. I wouldn't say gaming in mobile VR is
Sure,
really
yeah,
there yet for anything but the most simple stuff.
Yeah.
But like you can have an enjoyable experience watching like 360 video in VR with your
Yeah.
phone. It's actually
Mhm,
pretty
mhm.
fun. Like,
Yeah, I remember
It's neat
doing
stuff.
that with the first Samsung Gear headset
oh yeah.
yeah.
because a coworker of mine had it at a job, and he was like, "Oh, you got to try this. It's really cool." And, like, I ended up exploring this pyramid or something like that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
sure.
Like I want to say that like exploring just really abstract or just like really just whimsical environments and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
places you wouldn't get to see.
Exactly,
ordinarily, yeah.
like
Right, yeah.
like an artist created this sort of like environment and is expecting you to kind of like experience it at your own
yeah,
pace. Like
yeah.
I love that shit in VR. It's so good. Like it's
that makes me think like it'd be really cool if someone did like a game kind of like Myst but VR. Like like those two things
that's
would work
so
well
perfect.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would totally screw me. Spatial
Well,
thing.
you gotta
Yeah.
do puzzles, man.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
gotta do the
That's true.
puzzles.
Yeah.
Write shit down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Cheating. Yeah.
That's not cheating. That's you have to.
It's taking notes.
Yeah.
Field
Yep.
notes, they're a thing.
Yep.
Draw your own maps and such. Yeah. I mean, I had to.
Yeah,
I
so
play
did I.
games like that.
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
We need a VR version of that hack now.
Oh god.
Oh no! Look out for that
Purple
right
tilde.
angle bracket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, bright yellow A. Oh my god.
Go Team A.
Nice.
The bright yellow one is a killer bee and is just as scary.
No, Womp. They're so fast.
You can get insta killed by those things.
Yeah, the poison, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks.
Venom.
We were going to talk about what you've been
Right.
playing.
Yeah,
Okay, then we
yeah,
got off
please
into
go
VR
ahead.
stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Usually this
Yeah.
segment is pretty short.
Yeah.
All right, so as mentioned earlier, I tried the Steam Remote Play Together thing with Omega Weapon on Fight and Rage, which is a side-scrolling brawler, which normally those types of games I don't really get into very much, but this one's like really competently done. Like it's shallow in so much as you only have, like 3 or 4 buttons to work with, but the number of button combos and different movement tech and all that sort of thing really deepens up once you learn how to do it. So we had a great time with that. We powered through on hard mode a couple times on like turbo 200% speed even, so that worked out very well for us. Death State I also did on stream. That's a kind of a very odd twin stick kind of open roaming type thing based on the occult and like sci-fi fantasy type thing, but very much Cthulhu and all the other things that you associate with D&D occult kind of stuff like that. It's an interesting game, and I actually know one of my sort of regulars, Ron Klee, kind of introduced me to the game, and he's actually a speedrunner for it too. So it's like, oh well, this is interesting. I give that a shot. It's pretty fun. Probably not something that I would get into that deeply, just because I got a 700 game backlog I got to get to, so I can't dip into any more than I already am in.
We all know that.
Yeah,
feeling,
that's
I
a common
say.
feeling. I have a feeling, right?
Yeah.
Then this most recently started up Star Crawlers. It's a turn-based roguelike spaceship dungeon crawler. Which is very interesting. It's been a bit of a slow start because I'm not really used to turn-based games at all. I'm more of the action-y, like let me press a button and have something happen immediately. And this is
Right.
this is more of like consider your moves, think about what actions you want to take, sort of thing. Sort of net hacky, I suppose, a little bit. But very much like Darkest Dungeon as well, as far as like you bring a party with you. They have abilities. You use them in sequence. You have to kind of deal with the enemies attacking in the same sort of way. So that's kind of getting off the ground a little bit. I'm gonna give it like another week or two and see if it grabs me any more than it already has. But it's pretty good. On the shmup front, we finished up our shmup of the month for October. That was Dodonpachi Daiojo. Not my most favorite of the Dodonpachi series. There's only like a certain level of thinking I can do for shmups, and this one was definitely beyond my level of thinking for shmups. For as far as scoring strategies and go here, do this, and just wait a little bit and do this, and it's like no, let me play, let me go by the seat of my pants a little bit. So I didn't do too well that month, but it was fun regardless. This month's shmup is Biohazard Battle for Genesis.
Nice.
Old school, very old school, of course, since it's Genesis 92. But apparently I've taken a very commanding lead this month with more than double the second place score. So
Oh, nice.
so I'll be like, all right, well, I guess
Kill
I'm not
it.
playing this again.
Yeah.
Biohazard, though.
Not Resident
Not
Evil.
that
Yeah,
kind.
not the
Okay.
same.
Sorry.
I was just
sorry.
like, oh, that'd be interesting.
No. This
It's
is
a
this,
rail shooter.
Yeah, this is like we were discussing the lore a little bit last night when we do shmup book clubs, and I'm glad other people look up the lore because it's just bizarre as hell. Something about humanity and sending these bioweapons to go fight some enemy on this planet somewhere, and it's just very thinly veiled to get some sort of story in there to justify this crap, but it's all about the shmup anyway, so whatever. And then our quarterly shmup for quarter 4 of 2019 is Hellsinker. This one is so far beyond my understanding, I just can't. I just can't. Like, there's a lot of modern and even semi-modern shmups are just so bizarre that as long as I have a good time with them, as long as I can kind of attach my actions with scoring and what's going on, it's fine. I can deal with it. This one is just like No. How does this even remotely equate to what I'm doing? So I don't feel like playing that one very much.
Huh.
But we'll see how it shakes out. I don't think a lot of the people from our group have really tried. I think there's 4 entries on the scoreboard, and we usually have like a dozen, like 12, 13, 14, 15 people throw in for the quarterly. But what are you gonna do? Can't all be winners. Of course, the Salty Android Cactus. Since we finished up the marathon last month, I've been dipping into finishing up Campaign Plus, all S pluses. I'm almost to 2/3 of the way through now.
Nice.
I've just started working on Shiitake last weekend, so I'll probably finish her up this weekend, then move on to, let's see, Peanut, right? Peanut would be the next one, and then Licorice thereafter, and then I'll be done.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's a lot of fun. It's interesting coming from the perspective of a speedrun, because really the way to get better at the speedrun is to really have a very competent understanding of movement. And the way you get better at movement is to kind of play every character and kind of understand their moves, understand what you can do, understand what the optimal strategy is, and then understand to do when it all goes to hell, as it does frequently. But that's doing all Campaign Plus levels. S Plus is a really good way to build up some solid fundamental skill for that, which is I always found very intriguing and awesome about Cactus as a whole. It's just this, it's not really necessarily designed to be a speed game. I wouldn't even say it's necessarily designed to be a score game either, but you can do some really fantastic things with both of those just by building fundamental skills with it, and then
It is a
running roughshod.
spectacle to watch as a spectator.
It's incredible.
Like, yeah, just watching someone just dominate that game with how flashy and intense it is. Yeah.
And especially with the Android I'm playing now, Shiitake is the kind of a by far the slowest character in a speedrun sense. But when you see, and I'm not going to claim that I'm good with Shiitake, because I'm not. I actually don't like playing as her. But when you see some of the top runners with Shiitake, it's a hell of a dance to see that in action, to see it so fluid and just considered, and you wouldn't be able to really pick it out casually, like the sort of things that they do. But it's just like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then, of course, I talked about this briefly earlier in the show, but a lot of Everspace the past week or so. I focused my Saturday night grab bag last weekend on it, and then I've been playing it until like 1:30, 2 a.m. Every night this week because I am an adult and I make good choices sometimes. But that's just really a fun game, and I can't wait for Everspace 2. It's gonna be fantastic. I mean, Everspace 1 holds up great. It's not even that old of a game, but it's fantastic game. And if you want to lose 30, 40 hours, I would recommend picking it up. And I think that's it for all of our gaming stuff.
I do have a couple things to add.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention them in my games. But I have, since last show and shows prior, my Commodore 64 setup is now working. I can stream it. I can play it. So I'm looking forward to actually setting up practice streams for 2 games in which I plan to run in whatever event is coming up. And those games are Legend of Black Silver, which is a kind of a long-form RPG for the Commodore 64, and Uridium, which is a very short but extremely crazy shmup, which, like, yeah, it's probably one of the best and most well-known shmups for the system. So,
was that a shmup?
well, it's a shmacide, whatever.
Okay, I was like,
close enough.
Whatever. So,
It's
yeah,
it's fun to say it.
It's
Okay?
more
Yeah.
of a Gradius than a
yeah. Well, not so much. You can choose the pace that you take through the levels,
okay, fair.
which is
so-
what lends to its like perfect speedrun ability. So yeah, I'm really excited to be able to actually hop on stream and showcase a couple of these games
Nice.
and talk about them and stuff. So now that my setup is intact, yes, look forward to that.
Very good. Cool. I will definitely tune into some of those, because like I won't proclaim to be the most interested in playing retro stuff.
Yeah.
But it's certainly fun to watch. I do enjoy that stuff. All right, Toonskis round 2.
Yes.
All right, The Princess and the Wolf by Danilo Siafi and Medlix from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
And then a remix from Star Fox entitled Crosswind by Belays.
And finally, a remix titled Marin's Mambo from Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening by Lemon Electric. Garfield and friends.
It did sound like I did debate waiting for the meep, but just
yeah,
decided against it. Meep.
well, instead, we can talk about a game.
We could talk
Yeah.
about games. This will be our first show in 3 months since we've had game design.
Yeah,
'cause
I know. It's been a while.
2 ago was the preview for S3 2019, and then 1 ago was the postmortem for S3 2019,
Yeah.
and then now here we are in November of 2019.
Yeah, we're in the winter
Um,
months where like nothing fucking
like-
happens.
Oof.
Except snow and cold
Yeah.
and dumb bullshit like
And
that.
we have an event some point in there, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't
Yeah.
know. Everybody's just kind of on the fence about everything. It's just like, oh, I'm so tired,
Yeah.
and nobody's got
Hell
any
yeah,
time.
no
I mean,
time.
AGDQ is coming up
yeah,
in
and then there's
January,
that.
so
And, there's so many events now going on that it's great, but it's also tiring.
yeah, no.
It's so tiring.
Tormod and I have decided that like we're not doing any of that shit like this coming year. We need a break.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I can understand that 100%.
Yeah.
So,
But
sorry.
all the same, I would love to go back to PAX.
I would also. I was considering doing it this year, but then things started happening. I was just like, shit. No,
Yeah.
I can't do it this year now.
I'd like to go. I have
Oh,
yet
man.
to experience that.
Oh, really?
You're
oh,
gonna
yeah,
be in
I would.
Seattle, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will be right
for,
there.
for 3 months. I don't know if I'm gonna stay there
Oh,
after
okay.
or not.
Okay,
That's
fair.
the thing.
Fair,
It's
fair.
still up in the air where I'm going to be
Yeah.
living after like April of next year. So.
Mm,
Yeah.
dang, in the exact wrong months to be up in Seattle.
Yeah,
for that.
Yeah.
Womp. Well, anyway, some design.
Yeah.
Tonight, I've got an office-based brawler
Uh-huh.
on
Office
tap.
based.
Office-based brawler.
Brawler.
Like a side-scrolling brawler, or I haven't really decided on a style yet, based in ye old standard Office.
Uh-huh.
And the point is to make shit work around the office
Oh God.
by beating the shit out of it.
Does that include coworkers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe in boss fight.
Maybe
literal
maybe you
boss
just
fight?
boss
Boss.
fight.
So,
Yeah.
that's-
You gotta
know,
fend
yeah.
off Lindbergh or some shit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
if you if you could just
I need you to come in on Saturday.
that'd be great.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Hi. Oh, it's so sad how relevant that movie still is.
I know.
I hate it. I hate it so much, but it's a good movie. So, office-based brawler. Instead of people, you fight various furniture, appliances, obstacles, and supplies around the office. Yes, seriously.
Yo, I totally want to slug it out with a copier.
Right?
Let's go.
See?
Don't we all?
So everything around the office refuses to work. So you have to balance your time and energy that you have to beat, pummel, and otherwise convince things to work.
Hmm.
So, the style is like thinking maybe real time, maybe a series of vignetted puzzles or turn-based battles. Perhaps there's a lot of different styles that I think could work for this. Haven't really focused around one. So I envision the graphics and movement very similar to Pet the Pup at the Party. Very kind of lo-fi, very smooth, very just kind of, oh, here's some random shit going on around here. Like most offices end up being
Yeah.
eclectic mixes of garbage, essentially,
And-
as they
Yeah,
progress.
just like a blender full of beige
Yeah, it's
appliances.
just terrible, like flickering fluorescent overhead lights and
God.
just all that crap that all of us have to deal with
Carpet
at
with
one
patterns
point.
from the 90s.
Yeah,
being
mismatched carpet squares just going on
Right,
everywhere.
right.
It's just like, oh god damn.
Those
Oh my God.
What are those ceiling tile panels that are like perforated?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like a good old
Drop ceiling.
coffee stain
Yeah.
here. It's like
Yeah.
someone bumped into someone else like 5 years ago
Yeah,
and nobody
and-
remembers it anymore, but like you remember the stain.
Nobody bothered cleaning it up. They just kind of let it dry and then everything's fine.
And you
Uh,
throw pencils at it, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. You got still pencils stuck in the ceiling tiles because you got bored one day and you're just chucking things up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So some permanent obstacles that need to be removed before you can progress further. For example, you got to go fix the printer so the boss will stop hassling you so you can get into the break room, or
Yeah.
you know, some weird office politics bullshit that you
Yeah.
got to navigate
Right,
and,
right,
and
right.
kind of make happen.
Emphasis on the bullshit. Yep.
Yep, exactly. Right. Or you have to go borrow your IT coworker's badge so you can get into secure areas and
Oh
stuff like
God.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Don't
Right.
joke about that.
I left it I left it at home. Could you let me in, buddy? I got a package to deliver.
right.
Yeah, you do.
So you have to find your targets, avoid your coworkers who'll just waste your time jawing about stupid bullshit, and building security if you're doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, because who is always kind of stuck to the straight and narrow, and then engage in combat with these various obstacles. The goal is to meet the minimum things working, quote unquote, by the end of the day. So to make things work.
that's very realistic.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. So it might be a little tongue-in-cheek, art imitates life sort of thing.
Yeah, developers always breaking shit. What?
Hey, job security, man.
I resemble that remark.
So to make things work, you have various light, medium, and heavy attacks, punch or kick, things are various combos thereof. Yelling, light taps, targeted nudges, full-on open-handed slaps.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some rhythm elements to be had here, too, just to encourage that paper jam along.
Yeah, place rhythm games on the fax machine.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So get your target's health into the proper range, that execute a finishing move to interact with the target normally and hope that it actually works right.
Finishing move. Send.
Yeah, exactly, right? Closed tray 2, go.
Massage toner barrel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So things to make work. Doors, bad handles, it's stuck on the door jamb, the card readers being temperamental as it always is. Vending machines refuse to power on, or your preferred snack is stuck in the little coily bop that never seems to work right.
All right, yeah, don't tilt it.
Yeah, right. Printers, the perennial favorite. Paper jams, both real and imagined, usually imagined. Water coolers that refuse to dispense any sort of liquid refreshment. Window blinds that are constantly stuck, or some of the slats never tend to line up.
Yeah, and it's always on the side of the building that's receiving the most sun.
Of course, yeah. They can never work when you actually need them to work.
Those bastards.
Fake plants are just in the way. Like, who brought in this piece of shit, just plastic ass motherfucker? Like, let's get him out of here.
Or the cleaning staff watered it.
Oh, that's true. That's quite a mess.
Yeah, that absolutely hasn't happened.
No.
Wow,
of course not.
this obstructing fern.
Yeah, get the hell out of my way. Gotta get to my desk. Computers, because hitting the monitor always solves issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, with yours it does.
That is true.
Yeah.
I have a laptop that I have put a lot of mileage on, and the screen likes to it's probably a loose cable, but the screen likes to just go all rainbow every now and then.
Oh,
and
nice.
You just give it a good punch, and it'll fix itself.
Gotta
and...
fonz it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, it does the thing.
Yeah, here, playtester.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, and of course, various restroom things: toilet, sink, paper towel dispenser. Motion sensors refuse to work on everything. He's gotta do a little dance or a merry jig in front of him to get it to work. And various combos thereof, just to get through your workday, like all of us tend to try to do sometimes, and turn it into a beat 'em up.
Shit's too real, man.
I know. Sorry, I should make it more fantastic.
Yeah.
and less down to earth, I suppose. But that's the basic gist of it.
Well, I mean, you got the accessibility element of it.
Right.
Everyone can relate to a number of those things. You just have to make it goofy enough that it's still enjoyable enough to where it's not
need to
like
be able-
Office Simulator.
Press A to punch.
You need to be able to make bluffs and stuff. You're like, shitter's clogged. And suddenly that person blocking your way is no longer there.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Etc.
Fair. Yeah.
Right.
Just, oh my god, just fabricate emergencies in order to be able to get beyond, whatever is blocking you at that point.
You see the little electrical panel open a bit. Oops, flipped the wrong breaker.
Yep.
Suddenly half the building is out of power, and now you can get to the server room or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah, it's like what Space 006 did intentionally.
Oh boy.
Wow, the call-outs. The call-outs.
Cough, cough.
Yeah, this
jam
sounds
ass.
like a story that
was
you
a
need to
story.
regale after the show.
Yeah, we won't continue.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. But yeah, so that is my entry for this month. So you all can.
I've got a really
Proceed.
short one that I'm pretty sure I could go through. So originally I envisioned mine as kind of like a lasso-based physics game, but I also wildly misunderstood what the hell a lasso was. Because my only experience with lasso anything is the lasso tool in Photoshop. So
okay. So someone's not familiar with Wonder Woman. Okay.
yeah. So I was all like, okay, fine. Like, how might this still work? Okay, we'll use a whip, like indie whip style.
Whip.
We'll go with that. So yeah. So this is a whip, physics-based game. Enemies are impervious to contact with the player. Effectively, like that's how you lose health. You run into the enemies, right? You're otherwise defenseless besides your whip. And luckily you are equipped with one. And incredibly skilled with it. You defeat the enemies by wrangling them up with a whip. So, like, at a distance, you just kind of, and then, like, try to catch them up in it, right?
Okay.
And then your objective is to, like, take this mass that you have just sort of, like, whipped up and, like, pull on the whip and whip them into something else that is going to, like, like, somehow render them...
Collateral damage.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
see.
And so you whip them into other things, whether it's walls, other enemies, that kind of thing. Maybe you get like a combo bonus if you just happen to like whip a whole bunch of enemies together at the same time. But yeah, there's a cooldown on it though, because there's your arm is only so strong and you can only whip it so often. So like if you whip it, it makes a really cool sound, but like yeah, exactly. It better make that exact sound. That's that stock sound effect. But like if you happen to whip nothing, it's like it's kind of like well shit, I lost time.
Gotta get the Howie scream in there.
Oh my god, the Wilhelm scream.
Oh, the Wilhelm scream. Sorry,
Yeah.
what's the Howie scream? Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The other one.
Yeah.
Oh heck.
Wow, you kind of nailed that.
I know. I've heard it a lot.
You nailed the Wilhelm like eerily well.
Everybody was thinking it. Don't worry.
Anyway, so yeah, there's a cooldown on the whip. And there's kind of like a bar that recharges. So like it'll remain at full, and then you can use your whip, and then it'll it'll empty out, and then you gotta wait for it to recharge, that kind of thing.
The whip gauge.
Whip. And then so you're going to be placing a number of different locations. It could be an office space. We could have a crossover.
There we go.
Crossover
Perfect.
game. But yeah, so like office space, apartment building, just social areas where just really pissed off people are just gonna want to come for you for some stupid reason.
It's me.
Sure.
Angry.
Yeah. Maybe the lobby of a fast food restaurant, just
There would be a lot of angry people.
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Yep.
Someone
Yep.
is just really pissed off and demanding to speak to the manager, but the manager is indisposed, talking to somebody else on the phone who's also really pissed off. So, they're just going to go after the nearest person they can find, and that's you, but you have a whip. So, you are equipped for this moment.
Equipped?
I get it. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I can imagine specialty whips, like corded telephones at the telephone at the end, or computer power cables.
Yeah, it's just very improvised, but the whips all kind of operate the same. Maybe you have just a standard PC power cable. Maybe it's a really really long those snap bracelets from the 90s.
Oh wow.
Those shit like that. So anyway,
the category 5 of Ninetales.
Yeah. So you're whipping enemies and stuff like that, but you have to be cognizant about when and where you use it, because if you whip an enemy with it and then just kind of leave them there, they're gonna take the other end of the whip and whip you with it. So
whoa, hey.
Yeah, I know, right? So you have to be you have to decide what you're going to do with whatever you whipped. Before you get whipped yourself.
Oh no!
What?
Hold on. I have to
Oh.
think of how to say this the right way. Oh no.
You didn't figure out the right way, did you?
He's swipwocating. Anyway.
Oh no. That's terrible.
Oh whoa.
Oh
Anyway.
no, stop.
You deserve this.
Yeah, what the... Anyway, so yeah. I don't know, maybe we could have a momentary tie-in with Winamp and llamas and shit, so... Yeah. Anyway, so the enemies will charge, hide behind obstacles. They'll even attempt to split up from each other to kind of prevent you from, being able to whip them into one another, that kind of thing. and they'll kind of like plot to basically like charge you and take you down. And if you suffer enough hits, like boom, you lose a life. Maybe there's like a hardcore mode where like you just get one death and that's it. People love hardcore modes and leaderboards, right?
Right.
Yep.
So so we'll have those too. So generally the best velocity you can attain is from whipping the enemy toward and behind you. So like, if you whip something, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to like whip it to the side, but you can always pull it towards you where you're going to have like the most leverage, the most force, right? And so effectively what you can do is like you just kind of, the strategy is you just whip an enemy and you whip it towards you or behind you and like you step aside and just let it hit whatever's behind you, right?
So you're not going to get the whole Mario 64. It's kind of...
So long, Gabe Bowser.
Yeah, exactly. little rotatey bit.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe. So yeah, and that's pretty much the idea. Just kind of whipping enemies into other enemies or other things. Just getting combos from, like performing that kind of task in either like short sequence. Kind of like you did it to one enemy and you did it to another,
So,
that kind of thing. Or
what would the perspective on this be? Because I'm imagining like a top-down kind of.
absolutely top down.
Because like this is seeming like a sort of like Hotline Miami sort of
Yes.
look to it, but not the same, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
With a whole lot less acid.
yes. Yep. Right. Less 80s, perhaps.
Yeah, right?
About
Yeah.
the same amount of blood, just in case. But,
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely going to have to be top down.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course you're going to be scored based on, how well the like if an enemy is further away and you just happen to like manage to whip them just farther away, maybe you get some more points. But if you manage to like kind of squeak away at the last moment, like you might get some bonus points for that too.
Right,
Like
combos, precision moves.
yeah, just the kind of stuff that's all like,
Phrasing.
wow,
Yeah.
you
Phrasing is important,
brazen
yeah.
motherfucker, like you just
Uh-huh.
managed to get in here
Right.
and pull this, like clutch move off. You have some points.
Yep.
Right.
But yeah, leaderboards, endless modes, that kind of thing.
For
I absolutely love endless modes. That as you progress through the levels, it becomes just like procedurally harder and through the
There's
different
the
locales.
buzzword. Haven't heard it in a while.
Procedurally generated. There, did it make you happy?
Oh wow, it's been months.
Yeah.
It's been months since we've done any design
know.
stuff. So,
Okay,
of course.
fine.
Yeah. But yeah, very, very arcadey.
For sure.
So,
There's
Yep.
another one for you. Yep, and that's my idea. So just kind of,
Retro.
someone might pay $1.99 for this. I don't know.
or several people might,
Yeah.
and then it'd be worth it, right?
Yeah. If someone pays $1.99 for this, that'll be $1.99 I did not have before.
True enough.
Value your time. Anyway.
Okay, I think you are last up here.
Yeah, I'm the least inspired of all of these. Let's see here. I couldn't think of a name. Multi-world pinball miser. There we are.
That sounds cool.
So there was some collection of like Microsoft Plus for Windows XP. Like it was
Mhm.
different than the 98 and 95 stuff because it didn't have the utilities. It instead had games and shit.
Yeah, 3D Pinball, Space Cadet or whatever, right?
No, not that.
No?
That came with Windows 2000 and above.
Yep.
Oh.
There was an actual like 3D like first-person pinball game. It was
Oh,
weird. Bowling,
interesting.
pinball, whatever. Anyway, it was weird.
Oh, yeah, I remember what that one is. Yeah.
So this is a virtual pinball game for a single player. Controller or keyboard, it's fine. Graphic style is pseudo-realistic. But there's multiple environments while you're playing. Like it'll switch between tables and environments, and it'll grow, and it'll, I guess, regress, we'll say, depending on your point accumulation and the things you're doing, if you're accomplishing goals and such. The audio will change based on the table that you're currently playing in, or like which mode you're in and such.
Mhm.
Point of view, usually tight third person, but with power-ups, it'll allow for brief moments of zooming out, so you can actually see what's going on a little further out, so you can plan better for whatever's coming around the corner and such. No story. We're done with that. Hook. The pinball table grows, changes, and evolves during gameplay. There really is no inventory. beyond like picking up extra balls and things like that. I mean, it's a pinball
Yeah,
game.
you got a ball counter, and that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. So mechanics, you'll complete objectives that will morph the pinball table either by adding new sections, changing existing sections, flipping entirely to a different environment, as it were. By accomplishing objectives or collecting power-ups, the player will also add to their bonus multiplier, trigger multi-ball, extra balls, and vulnerability, a kind of jackpot mode, so on and so forth. So what I was thinking of was there are some pinball tables like Black Knight 2000 where you have like multiple layers and such like that. So that's the kind of thing I was thinking of. Like, imagine like if the table in question were like New York City, and you go into the subway, you travel around on skyscrapers and things like that, bouncing between things, that kind of thing. So, depending on what you do, if you enter the right ramp at the right time, doing the right things, you'll, trigger a special, move to this other area kind of thing. So, objective, well, overall, the objective is to move up in the game's high score list, big shock. But objectives within the game will vary depending on the previous objective is accomplished. So, obviously, if you keep taking ramps, you'll obviously increase that score multiplier. But after a while, it's just kind of like, okay, you got to do something else, So, the areas of the table that are unlocked, the environment that they're in, so on and so forth. So, it is a set of, I guess, predetermined tables that have the option to go within, like, subworlds and such within them, and then elements in the tables, depending on whichever layer you're in, will grow or, I don't know, change.
So you're adding a sense of exploration to a game of pinball.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
And because of that, and the fact that there aren't really any pits and whatnot that you would normally have, like, oh no, it fell down the center, etc. Like, there would obviously be other hazards in there that would, end your turn and such. So, still haven't really figured out whether I would have like the same starting point for each ball, or if you would just start from within whatever section you were in, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I like the tight third-person view for that type of exploration game. It was kind of a little bit reminding me of Super Monkey Ball because you're just kind of putzing around.
I haven't played in a long time.
Yeah, we can't really like see the whole track ahead of you, and you're forced to make quick decisions and whatnot. So
I want to go back and play that again.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much my idea on a brief, summarized list.
Neat stuff.
Have you played Sonic Spinball?
Not lately.
Oh, okay. That's kind of what was reminding me
Sonic
of
Spinball's a ride.
It is.
There's a lot more game there than you would anticipate.
It is wild.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if I've heard of that one.
No? Oh, classic Genesis.
Yeah,
it was a Genesis title?
Yeah,
or was it CD?
it was a late Genesis title.
Gotcha.
It was pinball, but it was like there were just so many like little mini zones in it, and like you'd advance between the zones.
Mini tables between everything.
Yeah.
Right.
But they like kind of came together to form like this giant, like story narrative bullshit.
Nice. Yeah, I mean that sounds pretty similar actually.
Yeah.
I had not played that in a long time. Also,
I would suggest giving it a try. I don't.
And then throwing my idea in the trash.
Yeah.
No, I would suggest watching it.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic Spinball is not a great game.
No.
But I think like it's great to watch someone who knows how to play it.
Just to see your entire. It's one of those games where you could spend a lot of time on the very first level and never see any of the rest of the game.
Freaking frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, and it sounds like your idea is a little more open world, freeform, not attached to a franchise with lore kind of deal.
Well,
so.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a big selling point already.
I mean, they certainly took a lot of liberties with the Sonic lore when they
I'm sure.
developed that one. But
nobody talks about how canon that is.
It's got parts of it gotta be, man. Like, you just gotta.
All right. Well, warning heeded. But anyway.
All right. I don't want to put you on the spot, Vlad, but if you've got any stupid design ideas.
I mean, I don't know. I spitball stuff with my friends from time to time, but I don't generally
That's
go
pretty much what it
beyond
is.
talking about elements of other games.
Yeah.
I certainly
Fair.
haven't done much in the way of designing games since my early like middle school, high school days, playing with TI Basic because that's what you do.
TI
That's
Basic,
what you do instead of paying attention in class.
Right? Yeah, you write text-based games in TI Basic. Yeah, fun times.
Oh, really? I was writing stuff to cheat on homework.
Well, same. But that's easy.
Yeah, but that was on the side.
Right? Yeah, like no, but no. I think the most. I do have a lot of great game design discussions with some of my friends, but it's usually about existing games, not quite as much about new stuff. I've been doing a lot of speculation lately with certain friends about what the next Smash character might be, but that's how that goes. But that's its own thing. It's scary just how open that is.
That
like
is a
there's
weird
speculation.
That is a weird expanding rabbit hole.
So many games that could be pulled from for that.
Oy.
Like, oh man.
The next Smash character is going to be a can of Mountain Dew.
No, so like the last three that Eric and I have discussed at length are Doom Guy.
Yo,
hear me out.
No, I absolutely want to hear this. Go on.
Oh boy.
So we talked about Doom Guy. He thinks that Master Chief is a possibility. I don't think that's gonna happen.
That's a little more
can't
distant.
see that.
That's a stretch.
Doom Guy would work much better because
Yeah.
he's way more physical. And then this is also very unlikely, but we were amused by the possibility, so we were spitballing because I've been playing Portal. What Shell would look like as a Smash character. Like, what kind of movesets would you be dealing with and stuff? Like, you could make that work.
Interesting.
But yeah, we
around with turrets.
we have weird. Well, like we talked about
Obviously portals. But
one of the specials, special attacks being Shell shoots a portal at the ground in front of her, and a turret flies out, shoots some random bullets, and falls back in.
Yeah.
nice.
Kind of
I can
deal,
see
like
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we have spitbally conversations like that. I don't generally have many ideas for games in and of themselves, but yeah,
It's fine. Neither do we most times. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I'm a very good example of that.
I mean that was a neat idea. It was fun
Oh,
to hear
that's
about.
fair.
So
It's not an RPG.
See?
Woo! And it's not a rhythm game.
Yeah, that too.
And it's not an arcade shooter.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Okay, yeah.
you had to think.
Had to think about it. I'm like, wait a minute, did I do that? All right, very good. Well, any other final closing remarks before we put this one away?
See you next month.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
Thanks
Alright.
for having me on. It was
Yeah,
fun.
not a problem.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. It's always fun to have different guests and stuff show up so
For
we
sure, yeah.
get away from the formula that is insert credits sometimes.
We love variety.
We do
Right.
love variety, and we also love routine because it's easy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Because it's easy.
Got to have a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'm Mr. Bond.
I'm Tormod.
And I'm Saxxon.
We'll leave you
I'm
with
Vlad.
oh, sorry. That's
Yeah.
right. I forget we got a fourth one.
We have a rhythm.
And we have Vlad. And then there's Vlad. So we'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Adios.
I was waiting for a fourth goodbye
Oh,
here.
Well, I did the hand wave.
Oh,
peace sign.
sorry.
I just didn't verbalize.
Could not hear the
Hi,
unvocalized.
bye. Yeah, I'm behind you.
Unvocalized.
Peter saying, there we go.